movie. It just happens.
No, that was just.
I go into horror movie mode very easily. So here we are. We are here after our second round of Pokemon. How are you doing after your second round?
I'm really hungry.
What's your record?
I'm making Gia go buy me food right now. So I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna eat because I'm like casting back-to-back games.
I have some soda so I can get some energy.
All right, that's fair. I just finished a cup of coffee, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so we're doing kind of like a format that you would see in, I guess, most tournament plays. So we're doing a best of 5. We're doing the ranked modes that people usually do once they hit level 10 in Splatoon. So we've got 3 modes: Tower Control, Splat Zones, and Clan Blitz. We like 2 of these modes.
And Rainmaker. We also have Rainmaker. We might get Rainmaker. We'll see. We'll see.
I believe not. Clearly, okay. So I only play Splat Zones.
I play everything but Clan Blitz because, as we will explain, Clan Blitz is awful. But our first map is going to be Tower Control. Very simple concept. Get the tower to the checkpoint. Sounds easy, right?
Nothing's ever easy in these games. nothing is ever easy in these games. But as you can see, so like Port Mackerel is actually a really interesting map for Tower Control. It was the first time I'd ever played Tower Control. It's a very straightforward map. The more people that you have on the tower that are your color, the faster it'll move through the checkpoints, right? So checkpoints, like for those of you who played Overwatch, like they have this limited amount of time to try to push their objective through that. So part of it is you want to cover turf so that way it's easier for you to swim around and make sure the other team doesn't get around your checkpoint. So the tower is in the middle right here. We do see the Runaway subway grabbing the tower, are trying to get as much turf as possible right now to be able to make sure that they're able to push their objective. We see an umbrella, which umbrella is really nice to have on this because it does protect you against other weapons.
It can until it takes enough damage, and then you're kind of done, but here we are. So, blue team has already pushed to the first checkpoint. Good for them. You have about 100 seconds from beginning to end in Tower Control, which makes it a very quick game. And blue team is already at the second checkpoint. They are clearing this as quickly as possible. There's the third checkpoint. They're going for it, and that's it. Game.
Should probably message it.
That is kind of the beauty of some of these Splatoon games, is they can take the full 100 seconds. Sometimes we can go into overtime if we want. I've done that. Yeah, if you make it. I've done that on a couple games, which is very interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
there we go. Good job, Runaway Subway.
Yeah. So like the thing about this is like when you do it for specials or like when you're at checkpoints, it's really easy to push forward, right? And so part of that reason is why you want to like, besides turfing, like inking turf that you want to be able to swim through, you do it to build up your special. So that way when you get to something like checkpoints, you can push and force your opposing team to kind of fall back and force them to play defensive. Oh, Clan Blitz. It's like football, guys, but not really.
Oh, no. Clan Blitz is the worst.
So Clan Blitz, it's one of those modes that you either love it or you hate it, and most of us hate it.
Just hate it.
And so what happens is you have a bunch of like clams on the field. Your goal is to collect 10 to create a super clam. It looks like a football, and you get it to the other side. You break into the opponent's barrier, and you try to get clams in there and score as many as possible. Your goal is to get 100, and you can only break barriers with a super clam, which is 10 individual clams. Whenever you use a special, you lose your clams. You can throw clams to your teammates. You can throw super clams to your teammates. But the most important thing is once you have a super clam, you are visible to everybody on the map. And so the thing here is you have to kind of manage how many clams that you have, how many your teammates have, and then figure out how you're going to super jump to your teammates whenever you're ready. Because once you have a super clam and your teammates all have individual clams, you can do one big push and win the game in one go.
See, my favorite thing to do on Clan Blitz is I like to play goalie, so I can hide by my team's net and just try to splat anyone who tries to go. I can handle myself sometimes.
So I mean, this is one of those things where choosing your team makeup is actually really important, because when you have like a really good anchor who's able to like get a Stingray special up and kind of force your opponents to play defensive, then it gives you an opportunity to really push forward and just make sure that they're not able to stop you from making goals. And so I think here we might actually see a couple Stingrays to be able to kind of just have that offensive pressure when specials are up. Yeah, so we'll see exactly like what's gonna happen here. But yeah, so like the small little dots on your screen are gonna be the individual clams. We don't we have at least 4 on each side. We do have a splat already on the Tentacrules side, so they have lost. We have at least a super clam on the Runaway subway. They've got 23 right now. We do see 1 super clam right there, and a bomb is about to go after Ashley here. Ooh, gets splatted on the side by Starbit.
Ashley. So there we go. We are actually with Izakano and Izakano. There we go. And our super clam. So now she has to try to get to that right there.
Oh yeah, there we see the Stingray trying to stop that, but ooh, the splat right there does get the barrier break on here. However, Ash able to splat, and now just gonna have to play that goalie until they're until the barrier is up. But consistently, we see Runaway Subway here getting goals into there. So we almost have a team wipe here on the Tentacrules side, and he's kind of able to go for the super jump and able to at least get some more flames in there. Has a sprinkler up to prevent anybody else from trying to splat them.
We do see that Runaway Subways has another super clam and into. Oh, this might be really close. And of course, our lovely green team Tentacrules is in danger.
Yeah, we've got that inkjet kind of just denying any sort of splats here from the Tentacrules, and we do have a ooh, those last video game right there.
I'm getting reminiscent of like the games that I play.
Well, I mean, it was really interesting because when you at one point there, you did have the Tentacrules trying to make that push back, that defensive push. You had Ash, I think she was one of the umbrella. Yeah, so Ash was one of the umbrella there and was able to try to just like at least splat people. But the problem was Izakano was able to get that barrier down.
Oh, this is a mood.
Kind of made all the difference because right there was one of the
okay, don't
able
please
to go straight for it.
And now we're moving on to Splat Zones, which I think is
my favorite.
I think it's my favorite as well.
Zones.
So Splat Zones, again, simple concept. There is a zone, it's a square, and you have to keep control
or
of it.
multiple squares.
There are multiple squares, yes. I think Gobi Arena is one square.
It is.
I do love this map for Splat Zones. And you have to keep control of that zone for 100 seconds, which again sounds simple, right?
Yeah, and so like the thing about splat zones is once you have control of the middle, you kind of push forward still and ink as much turf as possible, because when you do that, it makes it harder for the other team to kind of move forward, because once they're in opposing color ink, it's harder for them to move, right? So once you have the zone, it's not exactly game over. What you have to do is you have to make sure that it's harder for the team to come back from that and force them to try to paint first before they come and try to take control of the zone.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing to do is push forward and just try to take everyone out as quickly and as often as possible so that they don't even have a chance to get back to this flat zone.
And the hard part about Gobi Arena, so Gobi Arena actually has a couple places that are that have tarp on it, so you can't ink them, you can't swim in them. There is a raised level on it that's perfect for snipers that I found. There's actually 2 towers on the side as well where people can hide. It's really nice for things like sloshing machines, like Blabo Decos. I've seen a lot of splatlings that are actually also really good there. So I think in this mode, it's also really nice to see Ink Storm because it forces you kind of push back and also make sure you don't get spotted by that rain.
It's also a very easy way to still keep control of the zone if you have some of your opponents in it.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot with Custom Spot Shot Junior here with that, but like that, there we go. Dooley's is also really nice. We do have a sloshing machine on, I think, or something like that on the Runaway Subways side. So as you can see, that yellow outline right there is going to be the splat zone here. We do have Haley climbing up to try to get a little bit of a vantage point where, you know, it's a really nice sniper spot. We do have a sprinkler and a splash wall already there, and we've got the Runaway Tentacrules in control right now. Oh no, there we go, that's better. Runaway I was like, wait a minute.
So yes, our Tentacrules. So as explaining penalties is really hard, but there is a penalty. It is it's basically how long it takes your opponent to get to the zone back.
Yeah.
There's some math in there, but we don't like math.
Yeah, so basically the longer that you have it, if you lose control the longer you have the splat zone, the bigger your penalty is going to be. So as we can see, like, Tentacrules had it for a count of 9 seconds. They only have an 8-second penalty right now. If they can force a control from the Runaway Subways, they'll be able to impose a pretty big penalty on them, right? So right now, it's a neutral zone. We do have control, like 19 seconds right now is a penalty for the Runaway Subways. If they can push right now, they need to be able to, like, to stop that. So every single time you gain control, your penalty has to come down first, right? So if they can hold it for about 20 seconds, that would have been so nice.
Let's switch. Here we go. Okay, so you're gonna press this button.
Nope, I
We're still learning. We'll still learn Spectator mode here.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can go over to Runaway Subway.
Yeah, so Splatoon is actually like really interesting because there's a lot of like back and forth here, right? So what's really nice is Tentacrules are kind of denying pushes for the most part. Like the Runaway Subways have to figure out a way to kind of push forward still here. They did get, we see that splat here from Ash on there with Splat Shot Jr. Ooh, but another spot right there. We do have potential missiles coming out on the side, which is also a really nice way to cover some territory. Starbird able to get the bubble blower and is trying to take advantage of those bubbles as much as possible. Almost a good spot. We have a sting right here from the Tentacrules up on that tower. They did lose control and are in control of it once more. We do have about 25 seconds left. If Tentacrules can gain control of it at least a little bit more, then they're going to be able to impose a huge penalty on them.
Let's see what our Tentacrules are up to. Oh, and Ink Armor coming out.
Oh yeah, that's game over.
Oh, hello, Haley. Oh.
We could technically go to another best of 3. Mostly because I promised Gio that like he'd have enough time to get me through. Am I a liar? Probably.
So that is it. That was the first 3 games of Splatoon. We might play a little more, save a little time. But obviously Runaway Subway, really tight team. They obviously practice.
That's okay. I hope the controls will clear out my bad. Don't get angry.
Woo! I think we are forging ahead, so we're going to do tower control in Muscle Forge Fitness. Muscle Forge Fitness is really interesting because there are a lot of low places, a lot of high places, a lot of tart places. You can kind of peek out behind corners and get tower.
The metal grates. The metal grates is the hard part.
Metal grates.
Metal grates is really tough on this one because the metal grates make it hard because you can't be in squid form or else you'll like fall through.
Yes.
I actually have never played this one on tower control before. Same concept though, but I think this one, it's a lot more interesting because like you said, the highs and lows here. What's really fun, I think if you have a Stingray on this, it'll be exciting to see because it's just a straight kind of like flat map. Like I don't actually know the way the map looks like for tower control on here. But it's a lot of ups and downs, and there's a lot of ways to sneak around and like try to paint properly. So it'll be fun to see what happens. Who knows? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I was just choosing their weapons because again, like Umbrella's really nice on this because it gives you some sort of defense once you have control of the tower, and then you rely on your teammates to be able to push forward because if you don't have something on the tower, then the tower resets to the middle after a long enough period. So it'll be interesting. Because if you don't,
That's my problem in tower control because I don't like being on the tower.
I love being on the tower.
I like guarding the tower, and so if no one else jumps on the tower, I have to jump on, and it's sad.
So Stingray, I think here is also really nice. Like Stingray is just in any mode is a really nice kind of special to have, but especially in tower control because if you time your Stingray correctly, you deny a defensive push from your opposing team if you have control of the tower. And so what's really nice about that is you force them to kind of move around, and if you have the Stingray on the tower, like on your own teammate, then they're protected that entire time the Stingray is happening. Yeah,
I do also love using something like Splashdown or Booyah Bomb on tower control. If I'm on the tower or near the tower, I can easily clear an area to hopefully deny my opponent that defensive push.
Ooh, yeah. So again, we do have the tower in the middle here. We see that pathway now. It does go up and down a little bit. So we are going to be having Trish Lanryu. I can only call her Trish, really. Kind of just trying to, like, using dualies, has the ability to dodge. Ooh, gets splatted here by the umbrella. You can see that happen. But they do have the tower, but Tentacrules do have control of the tower. Ooh, not anymore.
I think I'm cursing them because every time I go, they get splatted. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, first checkpoint is being reached now, though, by the Runaway Subway. We do have a baller. Ooh, and a spot on Izukano. Yeah, every time you choose somebody to get spotted. This is a different commentator's curse. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I feel bad.
No, I mean, hey, the tower is being reset. There is no control on it right now. We do have the Tentacrules having control of it, so are able to get back to the middle. Are gonna have control. We do have a splashdown here. I think that was a splat that we just saw. So no control of the tower as of right now, and
Runaway Subway has taken the tower back, so now they have to bring it back past all of where Tentacrules brought it back to the next checkpoint. Sometimes tower control can get really back and forth really easily if you get that tower back in the last 2 seconds.
That was a double splat over on the Tentacrules side, so that's going to be really tough for them to make that push. They are at checkpoint 2 here for the Runaway Subways. Have that ink storm up as well. They are really close to that second checkpoint and are going to get to that third one right now. They've got 30 counts left on there. That Stingray, like I said earlier, was able to at least prevent a defensive push. And yep, alright, and Ash able to get a really good splat at that moment. As long as they can keep hold of that, they'll be able to kind of make a little bit of a comeback.
Let's see if we can get over to the Tentacruel side. Oh, right as they splat. Come on. Oh, man. So now Tentacruels has to get the... Here we are with Patrick with our lovely slosher. They have to get it all the way back past the middle to their checkpoints on the Runaway Subway side of the map. We're going to super jump to a spawn point to tower.
Nice.
Good job.
Yeah, so that's the super jump into splashdown is actually really nice. Unfortunately, did get splattered by the umbrella here. So once again, the Runaway Subways do have control of it. They do only have to make it to the third checkpoint and then have only 26 counts left on that tower. The hard part here too is for the Tentacrules especially is they don't have a lot of ways to kind of move around. Got a double splat here. Got Ashley and Patrick here. Ooh, got
team wipe! Oh, that was heartbreaking, but kind of awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that just kind of makes it, a little bit tougher because we also help keep the specials here. No specials up right now, but I go at 21 seconds left on that tower, are past that checkpoint, and just have to be able to hold on to it for about 10 more seconds. We do have a three-fourths of the team gone, and that well-placed bomb right there is going to make sure, no more pushing.
That was game. Tentacrules, though, I think they did a lot better in this game than they did the last game.
So,
they're learning.
The hard part about this is if you don't have enough ink on here, it makes it harder for you to maneuver as tower control goes on the longer than it gets, right? So that was really fun to watch.
I don't think I've ever seen a team wipe like that. That was
crazy. If that was a play of the game for Splatoon, that would be play of the game.
I think that's play of the game. Yep.
Like, that was insane.
But I think that does show the power of some of those bomb specials, like Booyah Bomb, and you can easily sway a game in a couple seconds.
Yeah, I mean, Splashdown is also a really tough special to use because you can get shot down while you're in the middle of it. But I think the fun part is the super jump into Splashdown. It's a really nice way to jump into someplace and just try to get rid of some people.
Oh, here we go. So we're going Mako Mart, one of my favorite maps with my least favorite.
I love Mako Mart. It's really fun. I
actually don't think I've ever played.
I played it on Clam Blitz. I played on Clam Blitz. I definitely missed hitting the super clam. It was really embarrassing, and I kind of just hoped nobody realized it was me playing it when I did play.
So I think this is actually one of the reasons that Splatoon 2 is so interesting. Is every 2 hours, all of the maps change. So I can't sit and practice for hours upon hours of one map.
You could.
I have to time it out. I have to check the app, see when it's playing. I have to see what ranked matches are going up. So the game does force you to sort of be a little more flexible in terms of ranked matches and maps. You might get a map. You know, there's 2 maps every 2 hours. You might get one map constantly, or you might get none of them, which is great. So
I'm expecting a little bit of change in builds here. So the thing about Clam Blitz is once you have a bunch of clams, you want to be able to super jump as soon as possible. So I think we're going to see a quick super jump build on a lot of people here, so they're able to kind of move back and forth faster between points, right? Because this is one of those things where once you have the barrier down, you got to make the most out of it. Because the minute the barrier is up and you're not completely wiped it, you do get a penalty and you have to get a certain amount of clams before you get points again.
Yep.
We do have a Jet Sculpture on the side of Luna Blaster as well, and another Gatling. So again, you will see the goals here, and then you've got the clams on the field. So we are going to have a couple clam pickups immediately here from Tentacrules at 5. Ooh, and a splat from the get-go here on
That was my fault again. I'm sorry, Ashley.
No, Splatterscope here is going to be fantastic because you are going to be able to make sure that you've got a lot of high ground here to be able to stop that. We have a Super Clam on the Runaway Subway side. Are going to be able to pick up a couple more. We do have them pretty deep into enemy territory here on the Tentacrules side. Robin is going to be able to use that Jet Sculpture. He's going to play goalie, I guess is what you can phrase.
And Jet Sculpture is actually a really great weapon to use for goalie because the bomb is a toxic mist, which makes your opponent slower once they hit it, meaning he can knock everyone out before they even get their seed. Toxic mist goes up. He's trying to get that super clam into toxic mist, slow it down so they can shoot down. Let's see if...
Yeah, well, so like, and Tension Missiles right here, which is that special he just used, has a kind of twofold purpose, right? So besides like targeting and locking down onto your opponents and sending missiles out to them, it does reveal their position on the map for a little bit. We do have a Super Clam now on the Tentacrules side and on the Runaway Subway side as well. So both of them kind of waiting to make that sort of push, right? No, we've got the equal amount of clams on each side. If you can get rid of... Ooh. Oh, we've got a baller as well. Yikes. Oh, barrier down on the Tentacrules side. We've got that Stingray right now. I'm gonna make sure that they can at least get some of those clams in there. We might be seeing the super jump soon if the script is far enough, but Bull is right there in front of them. They've got some time still left on there, and we have the clams here. Ooh, really good splat by Haley right there. I love it.
That was sneaky. Good job, Haley. And that was one of those really quick weapons that if you can aim well, you can knock someone out pretty easily.
The problem is aiming well for me.
The problem is aiming well, yeah. No, the other thing that I found interesting about Splatoon is motion controls are super, super popular and super common, especially up in more of the
very nice
ranks.
splat there. A double splat here from Scope on that. That splatter scope, I think the splatter scope was able to stop the Tentacrules with that super clam as well. So they do have a penalty because they didn't get like the full 100 on that first barrier being broken down. But the range on this splatter scope is amazing right now. Like, it's just consistently, like, knocking out the Tentacrules.
Let's go see what our friend with the umbrella is doing. I don't think Miguel's controller likes me very much.
Yeah, I was like, you have a lot of problems. But yeah, Toxic Mist here is going to be playing a little bit of goalie here, so that's probably definitely Patrick. Keeping that as we got Starbit going back, trying to find some clams, is going to be able to at least turn some more. Ooh, gets splattered right there.
Good
by,
splat by Haley again. See what our friend the Tentacrules are doing. No.
Trying to figure
There
out
we go.
Yeah.
See, I don't have a pro controller. I'm not cool enough to have a pro controller.
Not yet. Ooh, got splatted by a bomb right there. Patrick with a splatter scope.
I did that again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was like every time you choose somebody, they always get splatted. No, like legitimately, it's kind of funny actually. We do have a super clam there from the Runaway Subway, so if they can just get it into the barrier, yeah, just one more clam and they've got this game. If the Tentacrules can kind of deny that, they might actually be happy.
Oh, nope, that's the game. I'm just on the struggle bus right now. I'm sorry, Miguel.
Give me my food. I'm gonna let you talk through this match.
Please.
Sorry. Give me my food, please.
There you go. Thank you.
Is the next one splat zones again? Because I do love me some splat zones.
I am unsure.
High five.
Oh, I was gonna suggest Rainmaker.
I'm gonna let you talk through splat zones. I'm gonna eat.
Splat zones. What do we say about splat zones? There's a lot of splatting, a lot of zones. You know what I'm actually in the mood for right now is sushi. Is that weird?
Feels a little bit kind of ballistic.
How much do you love me?
You can have some.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, I love this splat zone.
Splat zoned anchovy games. Now the thing that is so interesting about playing splat zones on anchovy games is on opposite sides of the map. There are two places that can start low or go high, depending on whichever you want to do. There's a fan that you can control to try to control the area and control the height.
You know what's the best weapon to use on this one for me? A sniper.
Yeah, I have gone up against many, many snipers and not lived to tell the tale. Those are those games where I get splatted more than I splat, which are always the saddest ones. Oh, those smell so good.
Take some.
Okay, I will. I love you.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm like eating on stream right now.
We're having fun here at the esports arena. They have opened the bar. Hello again, Kyle.
Double entendre there. Lordy. Did you see what it does? The secondary
Ah.
effect too.
We have Kyle here distracting us again.
Come on.
Thank you, Kyle.
This
is much
Alright,
appreciated.
I'm
We're
looking
playing
at-
a game
Woo!
here.
I'm looking at my cards. Is there a camera there?
Nope, there is,
Yeah.
but you're not on camera right
Oh,
now.
dang. I got this shiny
Ooh,
Electro.
Electro
Look at this
GX.
thing.
That
this
is
thing is like a
beautiful.
Benjamin. Okay, it's got texture on it.
It's like a Benjamin.
really nice.
Oh, wow.
Get
Okay.
that?
I'm too poor to understand that.
I stole mine.
And I'm out.
That's fine because it's my start.
our friends in the Tentacrules are doing. Hopefully I don't splat anyone or use the wrong button. All right, there we go. Let's see what Trish is. So there is our splat zone. No one has control of it yet. We're about 50-50 on the splat zone's control.
Toxic Mist from the Runaway Subways is actually really nice.
Ooh. So the Tentacrules had control for a couple of seconds. Runaway Subway has taken it back. Oh, okay. Well, let's go see who else we can find. Now, Trish is going to swim to try to build up her her specials. Oh, we're both eating now. Sorry, guys.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. So Tentacrules have control of the spot zone right now. They're going to be able to impose a penalty, that 20-second penalty on there. But Inkjet is going to be able to make a push right here. We've got a splat here on Trish alongside the Hero Umbrella. So kind of a lot of pushes here from the Runaway Subways is able to get at least half the team down. So now they've got control of the zone. They've got about 14-second penalty. If they can finish that off and get another 6 seconds, they'll be in the lead no matter what, right? But Ashley's still back here trying to deny that. Has actually a Gatling gun ready. Is going to be, ooh, gets Toxic Misted right there.
But Haley is behind her trying to let that Toxic Mist splat down. Handles them very well. Let's go see what our friends at Runaway Subway are doing. There we go. So we are with Xcuber. He is hiding in the ink to sort of surprise our friends, the Tentacrules. He's gonna climb up to a high point to see if he can try to maintain control of the splat zone. Now, Runaway Subway again doing very well. They only have about 15 seconds or less left. They're now making that that last offensive push to even deny the Tentacrules into the splat zone, which they do.
I think we're going back to Pokemon now. Yeah.
Yep. What's that game?
So the one you've been playing.
Oh, the one I'm still bad at. Thank you for the chicken nuggets.
The chicken strips, excuse you? Chicken tenders? There's a difference. There's a difference.
Chicken.
They taste different. Anyways, I'll see you guys in Pokemon again.
Do you need water or anything?
Probably.